respond to those spammy sales messages on LinkedIn? It feels like there's so much spam on LinkedIn right now. All of these random connection requests and sales offers. And even then, I feel like this is an opportunity to practice curiosity, which boils down to 3 elements. The first is self-awareness, the second, relationship building, and the third is clear communication. So there are 7 ways to deal with these spammy emails. The first is when it's just a connection request, and it's a connection request with no message at all. So number 1, you can just ignore it. I'm just like, oh, you know what? They didn't even take the time to write a message, so I'm not gonna respond. The second is to say yes. It's just, well, you know, why not? I'm just gonna add someone. It doesn't hurt me to just continue to add to my connections. I, in general, always like to respond, except in that first situation. If someone doesn't give me a message at all, then I feel like, I don't need to respond. Generally, though, I feel like every message deserves some kind of response. So in the third situation, it's when someone asks you to follow their page. And in this case, I'll see, well, if this is something where I think, oh, this is worthwhile following, then I will follow. And then I will also respond to their request and say, hey, I just followed your page. Will you follow my page? And typically, if we give first, then someone will reciprocate. And then I just give them my accompanying LinkedIn page. The fourth is to ask them to respond with a question. Hey, why did you reach out to me? What about my work appealed to you? And so that's a way of actually kind of getting them to tell you how you are perceived. So I think it's always interesting to learn how people see your work. And oftentimes they just like blasted the email, and they once asked that question, then they don't respond at all, because that would actually require work, because chances are they didn't actually read my content. The fifth is if they're giving you an offer that is just straight up, hey, I want to sell you kettlebell training or financial services. Do you want to set up an appointment now? And it's just so salesy. And then I can just say, hey, no, thank you. And by the way, would you consider following my company page? The sixth thing you can do is actually to get clarity on their ask. Sometimes they just say, I host a podcast for famous people, and I help people with podcasts all the time. And so I've responded, are you asking me to be on your podcast? Or I sell this service. And then I ask, are you asking me to consider buying your service? And oftentimes they don't respond to that. And then the seventh is if they do respond and it's just like, yes, I am asking you to buy my service, and then I say, and this is genuinely if I'm actually not interested, I say, I'm not interested in your service. What I can do though is we can tell each other about each other's services so that we can promote each other's services. So it can be a partner referral call, just so we can learn about each other's work. And do you want to set up a short phone call to do that? I talk for 5 to 10 minutes, you talk for 5 to 10 minutes. And I can tell you, most of the time, people totally ignore that request. And yet I feel actually pretty good that I did respond. And in the few times when they have responded and said yes, then I get to learn about their services. I just get to ask them lots of questions and learn more about that industry. And then they also ask me questions, and I just get a little better at selling too. So that's the exchange there. So these are different ways to deal with spammy emails from LinkedIn. There's so many of them right now. I hope you found this video useful. If you did, please do click like and share it with other people, and subscribe to this channel. You can also visit curiositybase.com to find out other ways of practicing curiosity in the world.